Today we're working on a 2011 Nissan Altima 2.5s. It's a lovely little car, runs real well. Today we're working on the transmission filter and service. As you can see, I've already taken the liberty of taking down the pan. This pan, again, on a 2011 model, is one of the pans that has the all too well-known drain plug, thank goodness. And if you take a look at those magnets, and I'm sure you have, I don't think this has been serviced in quite a while. An ungodly amount of fluid came out of the pan when I opened it, and as you can see there, it's pretty well rusted, or at least was. You see some of that surface rust. I'm gonna clean this up and get this ready to get back into the car. This Nissan going to from Johnson City to Asheville a couple of weeks ago. Decided it was only going to go 40 miles an hour with it floored up a mountain, which, you know, ain't that bad. It's Johnson City, Asheville, if you know the run. I-26 over Sam's Gap. So again, we're going to clean this up. Take a look at those magnets. I see a lot of wear on there, and there's 177,415 miles on this car. And I'm thinking about 160 of that is right there. Plainly evident, as you can see. I mean, it is. So much so that it's standing up on the magnets. Right. Again, we'll get back to it. Again, an ungodly amount of fluid came out of this thing. I'll see you here in a minute, but all I can say is that I have not seen evidence of any cylindrical filter that goes with the part kit from O'Reilly. This is the Power Torque FK 439. It's got the rubber gasket. It's got the little metal filter inside of it, as you can see there. But they asked for they called for a cylindrical filter that I can't seem to find where it goes unless I'm going to open up the bottom of that tranny, and I'm not going to do that. So we're going to get back to it. Well, as you can see on this this CVT transmission here, I got the filter out, and I'll take a look at it. You can see there's clearly some metal wear and fatigue. This would be the bottom of the filter, and of course, looking through from the top, you can just see it. I don't know if you can kind of see down in there, but there's little metal shavings just where it's been fatigued, so to speak. And then you can see that clearly evidenced by running your finger down. You see all this metal kind of dust in the fluids. And again, there is evidence that this has not been serviced in quite some time. Look at all this metal coming off. I mean, look at them standing up on the magnet. We'll get that cleaned up and get her back together shortly. Sometimes, or even when you're working, you gotta take a break. Little car, I'm letting it drip drain. I've still got her opened up. I've cleaned off the bottom of the pan, well, the inside. And we got clean magnets too. They're down here. Now they're connected to the tools. A lot better looking. And yes, there are two. So this is pre-surface rust removal. And we're gonna work a little bit on this. As you can see, it's got a good bit of road corrosion, road salt, just It's just a mess. We'll clean it up we'll make her look pretty. Man, this is post Rust-Oleum, and that looks a lot better. We'll get them magnets put in there and get her buttoned up here shortly. I am, in fact, getting ready to install this filter into the old CVT. It's gonna go right about here. In fact, I'm gonna see if I can't set this up here against this ramp here. Maybe like that. Now, one thing about these CVT transmissions you gotta remember is when you do these, that's the old filter there. When you do these transmission filters, you take them out and take out the old one. And remember which bolt goes where. There's two short ones, one long one. Long one goes to the right, short to the back, one to the left. I like to use a little old CVT oil, rub that O-ring a little bit, make sure she's seated on it nice. Feels good, looks good. And then what we'll do, so it's a pretty simple process. She just sets right up in there like that. And we're gonna do now, there you go. Get on up in there, you are. We'll do this backing first. Sometimes it takes a little pressure just to get her up in there. There's one there. And then again, you gotta remember which one's the long one. In this case, it was my left, which if you're standing on the front of the car and looking forward, it's gonna be your right. And then we had a short one over here. I like to get them started first. Well, I know one, they're not cross threading. Number two, holding my piece up while I'm working. Well, let's see, I had her here, where'd her go? There she is. Facing the wrong way. So I like to tighten up that back one first. I'm not gonna tighten her all the way down. I'm just gonna spin them up. And then I like to go in a pattern if I can. Not everything has a torquing pattern or a tightening pattern. But most things, if you look at it in the physics of things, the way things go together, you can tell you'd want to go this and that and that in sequence of tightening. You don't want to over torque these. They're going into aluminum, so you'd want to make sure they're tight, but they're not too tight. And that's it. That filter's on. And now all I have to do is get our new rubber gasket on, make sure she's nice and clean all the way around, which I've already done. She is. Oh boy, boy, lots of fun coming. We're just waiting for that to dry, and once she's dry enough that I can flip her over and get the Permatex on there, that'll hold my gasket in place as I put it up into the car body. And then we're good to go. Well, and there's your RTV on there. Spread a nice little bead across and spread it out a little bit. Let her dry. Now, most people don't normally do that. They'll spread her out, lop her on, and yay, we're done, boys. Let's button her up. No, you got to let that stuff dry, boys. Let it dry a bit. Get it tacky to the touch about 20-30 minutes. It dries in about an hour to put on per the box, but I usually give about 30-45 minutes and you're good. Button her up and we're done. Magnets. Nice clean magnet holes. Nice clean magnets. Well, as clean as I could get them, and it was a lot cleaner than they were. That's for certain. And oh, no matter how many times I cleaned them, I was still pulling there little chunks of metal out and across. It's been fun. Well, that spray I used to dry to the touch in about 20 minutes. Handle in about an hour. Of course, everybody knows RTV. RTV, dry to the touch, 20 minutes, ready to go on an hour. Yep, it's feeling pretty, just a little tacky. Not quite dry. Tacky enough it's going to form a nice seal. And that's what you're wanting to look for. I'm going to try to set my cameraman up on the ramp here again if I can. Maybe you might be able to see that. I don't know. That's a shout out to ViceGrip Garage right there. Now, I don't know anymore. All these newfangled computer transmissions don't switch gears. Feels like they're slipping all the time. I don't know. Shout out to ViceGrip. Let's see how we're gonna do this. Let's take this little guy, see how bad she is. She's not too bad at all. In fact, actually, I can do one of these numbers. Grab one of these numbers. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm gonna lose my cameraman. I've lost my cameraman. And there ain't not much I can do about it. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But let's get this up in here. It's dry enough to the touch that I can do that. And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go literally straight up and in. I'm gonna stick one bolt back here. Get that one started real good. Maybe even get her up to the top if I can. You know, enough that it's holding it and that feels it. And now I'll put another one right up here in the top. Just enough to thread her up in there and get her going. I can hold that there while I grab this number right here. We're just gonna start to spinning on it. Woo! That felt nice. Try that again. Don't want it so much that she's tight, but holding on enough. Same down here. That's just about where I want it. And we'll go ahead and find my bolts in and figure out which one of these is the old drain plug. We'll put that back in. Kind of helps. We'll go ahead and tighten her up all the way. Get her up to the top nice and snug. Make sure you grab your, I believe this is a 19 millimeter, boys. An 18 just didn't cut it. 18 was a bit short, they said. I'm pretty sure this is a 19. Might be an 18, but you know, I'm pretty sure it was a 19. Looks like it was 19. It is. It absolutely is a 19. And now, all we got to do is move on with the rest of our bolt installation, which from here on out is actually pretty easy. It's just a matter of getting them up in there, getting them wound in. Now, again, this little ratchet of mine is the one we used to pull the oil out with. So it's got a little bit of oil built up on it. See if I can catch a hold of it here. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. This is always the most time-consuming part, putting back in the bolts, or at least trying to anyways. I'm gonna turn the camera off. We'll see you when she's done. God, I hope that made it. Well, that's a pan in. Light's getting low. A little low. Sun's getting low in the sky, as they say. So, I went by the old O'Reilly's. I use First Call. I've got an account with them. I've been using them for years and years and years. I'm a loyal customer. And, well, they had to order that CVT fluid from, well, all the way across the other side of the lake over there. Piney Flats. It's, that way. Well, that way. More, yeah, that way. But, had to order it, come in overnight. I ordered me 5. I only see 4 there. Got me my funnel ready. Now, dry, I'll go ahead and throw 3 quarts in it. And then I'll crank her up, throw her neutral, and maybe throw a part of that last quart in. We'll see where she's at. All right, we got her down off the ramps. She's running. She's running actually pretty good. She's going through all the gears. Got manual, well, at least the stick anyways, it's there. Now, that's with 3 quarts in. We're going to see where she's at in neutral. And she's just right at the bottom of the stick, it looks like. Let me just see it. You see that notch there? There's 2 notches, and you want to be right at the very, very beginning of that second one from the bottom. Let's see where she's at. Now I can't get her to focus for you. It's times like these you wish you had a cameraman. Let me throw some in here and see where she's at. Well, now that 4th quart went in at approximately 8:45 p.m. Yeah, you could tell by the lighting, the sun was getting low in the sky. You heard me say it. And, well, O'Reilly's closes at 9. And that 4th quart, wasn't it? Still about a quart low. Well, so I tried to my best to get up there. Unfortunately, I missed them by 2 minutes. Wouldn't you know it? So, next morning, went back down there. Got me a another quart of CVT and put it in there in the parking lot, and sure enough, wasn't she still a quart under that second notch? 6 quarts, boys, 6 quarts altogether. She took every bit of 5 and about 3/4 of that 6 of them. $66 worth of CVT fluid. Was it worth it? Absolutely. We made a trip to Asheville yesterday, and sure enough, she just pulled right through. No hiccups. We went up that mountain about 65, 70 mile an hour at one spot. I told Mama to hit it, and she did. And boy, that car kicked down and kicked her right up and made that passing lane look like it was lunch. So, about $150 into it. It was well worth it. It's better than Nissan. I know it was done right. And I hope y'all enjoy the video.